Dear students, നമ്മൾ ഇന്ന് പഠിക്കാൻ പോണ തിയറം സ്ക്വീസ് തിയറം ആണ്. സ്ക്വീസ് തിയറം പറയുന്നതാണ് സ്ക്വീസ് തിയറം അല്ലെങ്കിൽ സാൻഡ്വിച്ച് തിയറം എന്ന് പറയും. If you have three real sequences, sequence xn, sequence yn and sequence zn, such that one of the sequence, say sequence yn, is sandwiched between the other two. That means sequence yn is in between, lying in between xn and zn for each n. Each term of the sequence yn is lying in between xn and zn for each n in. Okay, so xn is less than or equal to yn and it is less than or equal to zn for each n in n, and also given that ഈ രണ്ട് സീക്വൻസസും sequence xn and sequence zn are both convergent and converges to the same limit L. Then we can say that അപ്പോൾ ഈ xn, yn, zn എന്നുള്ള മൂന്ന് സീക്വൻസസിൽ yn is sandwiched between sequence xn and sequence zn. ഈ താഴെയുള്ള അതായത് yn ഡോമിനേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു സീക്വൻസ് ആണ് xn. xnഉം കൺവേർജ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്, yn-നെ ഡോമിനേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു സീക്വൻസ് ആണ് zn, അതും കൺവേർജ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. ആ രണ്ടും അപ്പുറത്തും ഇപ്പുറത്തുള്ള രണ്ട് സീക്വൻസും കൺവേർജ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് സെയിം ലിമിറ്റിലേക്കാണ്, ആൻഡ് ദാറ്റ് ലെറ്റ് ഇറ്റ് ബി L. Then you can conclude that the middle sequence yn is also convergent and that converges to the same limit L. Okay, so ഇതെങ്ങനെ നമുക്ക് പ്രൂവ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും എന്ന് നോക്കാം. For that തന്നിരിക്കുന്ന കണ്ടീഷൻസ് എല്ലാം എടുക്കാം. ലെറ്റ് സീക്വൻസ് xn, സീക്വൻസ് yn and sequence zn be three real sequences such that xn less than or equal to yn less than or equal to zn for every n in n. This is the main condition in this theorem. Let it be star, condition number star, and also given that sequence xn and sequence zn both converges to the same limit L. Okay, also given that sequence xn converges to L, let it be condition number 1, and sequence zn also converges to the same limit L, condition number 2. And the to prove sequence yn converges to L. For that, as usual, we take an epsilon. Let epsilon greater than 0 be given by condition number 1. Since sequence xn converges to L, corresponding to this epsilon, the above epsilon, we can find out the register positive integer m1 such that modulus of xn minus L is less than epsilon from the m1th term onwards, for all n greater than or equal to m1. Or I can write xn is lying between, that is xn is lying between L minus epsilon and L plus epsilon for all n greater than or equal to m1. Let it be condition number 3. Condition number 3. Now condition number 2 implies sequence zn also converges to the same limit L, so that corresponding to the same epsilon greater than 0, to the above epsilon greater than 0, there exists a positive integer m2 such that modulus of zn minus L is less than epsilon for all n greater than or equal to m2. That means zn is lying between L minus epsilon and L plus epsilon for all n greater than or equal to m2. Let it become condition number 4. Okay, now from these two conditions, condition number 3 and 4, you can say that if you take the maximum of m1 and m2, then both the conditions will hold for all n greater than or equal to m. let M be the maximum of M1 and M2 so that both the conditions 3 and 4 will hold for every n greater than or equal to M. For every n greater than or equal to M, both the conditions 3 and 4 hold. Okay, that is for all n greater than or equal to M, we have xn lies between L minus epsilon and L plus epsilon. Zn also lies between L minus epsilon and L plus epsilon. That means xn and Zn are both lying inside the neighborhood L minus epsilon, L plus epsilon. Okay, that is, in other words, I can write this as xn and Zn are lying between L minus epsilon and L plus epsilon from the mth term onwards for every n greater than or equal to M. Now from condition star, we have the relationship between xn and Zn. Clearly xn is less than or equal to Zn for every n. So condition number star implies, now star implies I can write L minus epsilon less than xn, and this is less than or equal to yn less than or equal to Zn less than L plus epsilon for all n greater than or equal to M. അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് നമ്മളുടെ required condition കിട്ടിക്കഴിഞ്ഞു. That is yn is lying between L minus epsilon and L plus epsilon for all n greater than or equal to M. Okay. ഇതായിരുന്നു നമുക്ക് വേണ്ടിയിരുന്നത്. So we have a positive integer M such that thus there exists a positive integer M such that yn is lying between these two, L minus epsilon and L plus epsilon, or modulus of yn is less than, yn minus L is less than epsilon for all n greater than or equal to M. That means yn converges to L. Okay, that is sequence yn converges to L. Thus sequence yn is convergent and the limit is L. ഇതാണ് squeeze theorem. Okay, മനസ്സിലായെന്ന് വിചാരിക്കുന്നു.